Are we gonna watch this jank Rush Limbaugh video?
Yeah, put it on.
Me?
Put it on. Oh, you want me to put it on? Do you have a link
Yeah.
for it? I don't know.
There's a video on his channel where he
You
talks about Rush
bastard.
Limbaugh.
You know, I want everybody out there to know that Sean's not paying me to be his engineer, and I gotta run everything and do all the work. So you guys know, send money to my Streamlabs instead.
This is true. This is true. I'm not paying him to do it. No, Jank has been all over Twitter. Like, Alf, have you seen all his crazy rants on Twitter about how, like,
Oh yeah,
go, you're Joe Rogan, you deserve to be frozen in ice for
yeah.
moving to Texas
Uh,
for lower
which I thought
tax.
was hilarious because does he not know anything about Joe Rogan? Like Joe Rogan's from the same state Cenk is from, New Jersey. Like they both grew up in New Jersey, and then Joe Rogan also grew up in Boston as well. So he's used to the cold. He grew up in it.
Right.
And on top of that, he's like a wilderness dude. He loves hunting. He loves camping and shit. Like I'm sure he could build a fire in his backyard if he needed to
Well,
in like
he's a
minutes.
survivalist who has generators, and he likes solar power personally, too. So,
Oh yeah,
like,
that too. And I'm sure he's got a fireplace as well. He buys a house in Austin, Texas. He's not going to have a fireplace. I'm sure he
like
does.
Jenk is so vindictive. It's like embarrassing, and he had him on there.
Yeah, yeah. He tried to do some shit today. Oh, what was it? He did something today where he was saying like how people are complaining about Texas or something. And they're like saying, oh, well, California is bad too about the California like officials. And he was like, oh, yeah, Gary Newsom's terrible. That doesn't make it any different. It's like, yeah, but Cenk, you're complaining that people are leaving California for Texas.
Right.
And then you're agreeing that the that the officials and the politicians in California are terrible. Like, so then how can you complain that people are leaving California?
Yeah,
It
no,
doesn't
it's
make any sense. What a
it's
hypocrite.
it's all ridiculous because they're not real progressives in California, so Jenk's against them. Like,
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's
it,
another point too. All those people that are leaving California for Texas, they're moving to Austin, a blue city, like the bluest city in Texas. Like,
oh, that's the other hilarious thing is that a lot of the blackouts are in Houston, which is a more democratic area of Texas, and they're like,
yeah,
"That's what you
Houston and
get for
Austin's
voting
getting it too.
Republican," and it's like 70% voted for Joe Biden.
Yeah, yeah, like half of the places that are getting hit with this snow are blue, are Democrats.
But that's like the go-to for Jank. It's like, oh, they're not true progressives. If only they were more progressive, then we
Yeah,
would see what would be going on. Like then we would
the
know.
no the no true progressive fallacy. So hold on, you wanted me to punch up a YouTube video? It's a TYT one. I have
Hold
to
on, I
look
just
for it.
want to show some of these like Jank tweets because it's like
Oh,
it's
okay, okay.
insane. And unfortunately, that guy deleted his tweet, the one that Jank like responded to, saying, "Oh, I'm a good person." The one that you sent me via the message, if you remember.
Who sent you a message?
You sent me a message of what you call it, of like that tweet that Jank sent to the guy.
Let me see. It's probably still in our DMs.
My
Yeah. Yeah, so the guy said, it's strange that you've made a career by being a hate monger and constantly spreading negativity. I guess there's a market for that, but the weight of your own anger and negativity will ultimately collapse you. And Cenk responds with, this is wonderfully ironic. I'm filled with love and hope. I fight with all my heart to get your higher wages, better health care for your family, and equality of opportunity. You don't he's like all angry about it. You don't like me because I'm a warrior for my side and I won't let people celebrate the hate mongers. Of course.
right.
He's so retarded.
Well, here's like I pulled up his Twitter right now in the stream. Like you should be able to see it.
Uh-huh.
Um, and it's just ridiculous. By the way, I know somebody donated 15. They said, "Here's your minimum wage. Thank you, Sean Rankin." I appreciate that. He's like, "Here's your minimum wage,
Sean
bro."
Franklin.
um, so like Jank is
Oh, we
like,
can't see it. It says your stream is still running.
"Oh yeah, I think you have to close yours and open mine."
No, no, on your Twitch stream. On the screen. Okay, there you go. I see it now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a delay for when it comes on Twitch, but like, if you go through it, it's
Oh,
like Jank
fine.
is still fighting people because they're calling him out. He's actually trending on Twitter. If you see him right here, like, He's trending under Andrew Cuomo in the politics section. So, like, people are making fun of him. So he's like, I will stop tweeting about what miserable failures Republicans are and how much conservative ideology has utterly failed in Texas. As soon as they admit that they were wrong and they should have protected the people of Texas instead of their beloved corporations and their profits. It's like,
Yeah,
Cenk.
maybe Cenk should be governor of Texas. He knows what
Yeah,
to
it's
do.
like, yeah, Cenk, go run for governor of Texas. Show him how to do it. And if you think that's a problem because Cenk doesn't live in Texas, didn't stop him from running in that district. I gotta be careful because if I click any of these tweets, the replies are gonna be savaging Cenk in a way that probably
Yeah.
violates terms of service.
Oh, yeah, possibly.
Like, if we're being perfectly honest.
Don't click them. Just scroll down and read them from there. You don't have to click them.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, this is like Cenk is like spurging out because people are like, dude, you're a terrible person. Like, you're celebrating people who freaking who are getting hurt and freezing.
Yeah, and a lot of them are Democrats. That's the funny part. He doesn't even realize it.
And now because Ocasio Cortez, they raised money for people in Texas, which is good. Like, I'm glad that they did that. But he's like, why don't you take this opportunity to go to Cancun or do tons of media? It's like, okay, Ted Cruz is not like, he's the senator from Texas, and he already came back from Cancun because that's how ridiculous our politics are.
Yeah, that he just dropped his family there and came right back.
Yeah, he already came back because there's a crisis, even though he literally has like no power over it. But
Yeah, he's the senator. He represents Texas to the U.S., not to Texas itself. So you need the governor to do stuff,
and it's also
not their
like
senators.
they're also like, oh, this is the same excuse. It's corporations being deregulated and all that. If you look at what percentage of what energies failed, it was the highly subsidized wind industry in Texas that failed. And that's not the only problem that they had. They had some
Yeah.
natural gas lines freezing and all that. But like,
I mean, it's a thing that you're not prepared for it. They're not they don't get weather like this. It's very rare. So I mean, they weren't prepared. They were caught off guard. It happens,
yeah.
People caught off guard all the time. Like when Sandy came to fucking, Sandy,
Oh my
Hurricane
god.
Sandy
Ow,
came to
wow.
New Jersey and New York, and it devastated us. We weren't prepared for that. Like you're
Yeah,
gonna blame, and we had like Democratic leaders at the time. You're gonna blame Democrats for that? It
look how
doesn't make any
happy he
sense.
is. He's like, but for everyone who's pointing to deflect from grotesque Republican failures in the Texas power outage by pointing out California's problems, progressives don't actually deny that. It's the same problem with crony capitalism. Both Newsom and and Abbott take bribes from a green energy industry and won't regulate them. California's energy system is not regulated enough for Cenk. Like, everything is like deregulation for this guy, no matter what. It's like full insanity for him.
Yeah.
But it is funny because he'll take this and eventually he'll make a video about how conservatives were triggered by me telling the truth.
It's funny because they'll make this is the hypocrisy of it is they'll talk about how the right wing is using this tragedy as an opportunity to attack green energy, blah blah blah. But then they're doing the same thing. They're taking this opportunity to attack officials like the state.
He's like, I sent a tweet about Joe Rogan moving to Texas to get away from government regulation. And then Texas had an epic disaster. Like, people don't have natural disasters everywhere. What happened was hilarious. Every blue checkmark conservative was jumping to defend his feelings in a desperate attempt to get on his show. Cenk, you were the one, like, if you look at Cenk's coverage when Rogan wasn't letting him on the show, but was having Dave Rubin on, it was clear that Cenk was trying to get back on his show. Like everybody wants to be on the Rogan show. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's the biggest podcast. It brings you tons of views to whatever channel you have if you go on there.
But it's also like, Rogan left because he couldn't do stand-up in California anymore. Because, like, the lockdowns over there are kind of, like, insane. And
but a lot of comedians in general, a lot of people in general are leaving because when they're in California, they're not in California in general. They're in Los Angeles, and Los Angeles is getting crazy. The traffic is getting insane. a lot of these comedians are getting older and they have children and crime is skyrocketing. Like, they don't want to be there to deal, they don't want to raise their kids there and deal with the traffic and stuff when they can move
Yeah.
to a nice place like Austin, which is a very nice city.
And by the way, one of the reasons Rogan actually left is like he's like there's just too many people in California. Like that's what was bothering him more than anything. Like more than the
Yeah,
regulations or
yeah.
the
Yeah, as
taxes
I'm
or
saying,
anything.
he's bringing up like regulations and government stuff, but the vast majority of them are moving out because of, personal reasons. Because, like I said, it's getting overcrowded, homelessness is going up, crime is going up,
Yeah,
traffic is insane.
he never said taxes, which taxes probably do play a factor in there because they take like 13% of your income over a certain amount, and Rogan obviously makes that. But like when he was saying regulations, he's talking about lockdowns because he wanted to do stand up. He's like, I can't do stand up. I'm only in California for the comedy store.
Yeah, and I assume he's probably still kept his house in California as well. He's just not living there, but
Yeah,
I'm assuming he didn't sell the house. I seen Tom Segura and his wife are leaving California for Austin, and they said they're going to keep their California house and go back and forth, but they're just going to make Austin their main home now.
oh yeah. I mean that's a tax move. You move somewhere for 6 months,
Mhm.
and then you what you call it, and
But their main reason is they don't want to raise their kids in Los Angeles anymore. Like his wife Christina P, she's from Los Angeles. She said it's getting worse and worse, and she's like, crime's gone up, the overcrowded, and they just don't want to raise their kids there anymore.
yeah, it's ridiculous. All right, I'm gonna send you this video off. Should I just stream it myself or no?
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
Whichever, you could do it yourself. Yeah.
All right, fine, fine, fine. Tell me to do it myself. Fine, fine.
You
I
lazy
thought we were
bastard.
cool. I thought we were friends. Let's see. Am I even subscribed to the Young Turks on this channel? Yeah, I'm operating on my second YouTube channel, which is amazing, and everybody should watch it.
So a lot of progressive office holders
Oh,
are doing.
shut up, Cenk. Let's see. They have a video that shows a black woman that says, Mom arrested for leaving kids to go to work. How much do you want to bet that that is not what happened?
It kind of is what happened.
What? It
But she's
is?
super poor and couldn't afford. Yeah, is that the one with the poor chick?
All right,
She
I don't
had
know.
to leave her. She had a motel room. She had to leave her kids in the motel room to go to work by themselves, and she didn't have anybody to watch them.
Yeah, it's like they should open up schools or something.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't
But
know
it is
how
a
old her
common thing
kids
in
are, though, so.
workplaces.
All
I
right,
think
let's
they were
see.
kind of small, but not that small. I think probably like 8 or 9 or something.
All right, I'm going to.
I mean, my mom used to leave me alone when I was 8 or 9.
Yeah, I mean, you're 8 or 9. That's like fend for yourself. Like, I had
Mm-hmm.
to
I
go
used to do
hunt
it.
for my own food back then.
Yeah, I used to cook for my brother at that age and shit. Because our parents were working.
Yeah. All right, so I have this video, which by the way, Jank, nice face to start out with. So just
It looks like he's trying to fart.
look at this title right here. Rush Limbaugh is dead! Exclamation point. Should we mourn him?
Should we mourn him? Why even make a video about should we mourn him? You mourn him if you want to or not.
Yeah.
Like, but that's a personal thing. It's up to each person. Like, who cares? Why
That's
would
what
we need TYT to tell us who to mourn? That's so weird to think that you're such an important figure that you can tell people who to mourn and shit. That's so weird.
Yeah. And look, I'm not somebody who even listened to Rush Limbaugh. You know what I mean? Like I
Oh,
never.
Rush Limbaugh was not even on my radar. Like, I didn't even know he was still alive. To be honest with you, when they said he died, I was like, oh shit, he's still alive. Like, what?
Yeah, I wasn't like a big conservative talk radio person. Like if I ever listened to talk radio, it was sports talk radio, like WFAN out here in New York, but like so Rush Limbaugh, like I'm not taking anything away from his achievements, but he's just not somebody who interested me that much. But
Yeah,
like
I mean,
I listen to the scandals that a lot of these people bring up, like the mean things that he said, and it's like the same mean things that they would throw at Rush Limbaugh from like 10 years ago. Like they don't even have new stuff. Like But Cenk's gonna sling all kinds of mud at him because he's a nasty person. And by the way, not very many people did this when one of their friends died, that communist guy from the Majority Report,
Yeah.
whatever his name is. Like they were all like trending like nice on Twitter, blah blah blah. They're like they call him like the goat and all that. And that guy was, he was not a good guy, but like I wasn't gonna make fun of him after he died. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least give it a few days, I think.
Yeah, like or just leave it alone. Like I don't need to own somebody who's like dead. Like that guy ragged on Dave Rubin constantly, and Dave Rubin like personally attacked Dave Rubin over and over again. And whatever you think about Dave Rubin, like those attacks were like super vicious. And I think they ended up doing a thing where they looked at how many Majority Report videos they made about Dave Rubin, and it was something like more videos than I have on my entire channel. Like they dedicated to making fun of him. And I didn't see Dave Rubin after he died saying "ha ha" in his face like he's dead now, like Cenk is about to
Dave
do.
Rubin. Oh yeah, this guy, the Michael Brooks who died.
Yeah. All right, let's hear the fat man. You ready, Alf?
Yeah.
Any predictions?
He's gonna say that he did a bunch of crappy things and he deserves not to be mourned and he deserves to be ridiculed or whatever.
And by fat, I mean PHAT, like in a cool way. I would never insult somebody's body on Twitch.
Folks, Rush Limbaugh has passed away. He died this morning. And so, of course, everyone is doing tributes to him. Will we do likewise on the Young Turks?
No.
Oh my God, he laughed about it.
He's like, of course not.
Oh my God.
You know what's funny is Cenk used to be a conservative, and he used to listen to Rush Limbaugh. So
I'm sure he looked up to him at one point.
I mean, is Cenk not like whatever he's going to say about Rush Limbaugh is going to apply to Cenk in spades, like bombastic.
100%. He's just like Rush Limbaugh, but on the left, right? Like, really bombastic, insulting,
like rude, crude, nasty. Like Cenk is actually probably more racist than what he's going to show for him. But look at him. Look how happy he is.
I read earlier how he was calling him out for being like, dude, you made your entire career about being a hate monger, and now you're, arguing about a hate monger and telling him off. It's like it's gonna come back around to you.
Yeah, and it's like you could respect something like someone in the industry. You know what I mean? That you're kind of in. Because like Cenk's whole shtick, like. Everything he's going to describe Rush Limbaugh of is going to apply to him, like, without a doubt. We all know this. But look at him. Look how happy he is. He's like, are we going to do this on the Young Turks? Show some regard for the dead? And the answer is, of course not. Because Cenk, after Herman Cain died, was making fun of him for saying, like, pray for him. And, like, I'm not religious or anything like that. And, like, how if you have faith, he'll survive. He's like, oh, I guess his God is weak as hell. Because he's dead. Like, that's an actual video that Cenk put out, like, on his channel.
That's crazy.
Like, insanity.
Should we mourn him? I have a simple answer to that. Hell no.
Hell no. Look at him. Look at him. Look at his face.
Look at his face.
This is probably going to be my thumbnail for the stream video on my second channel. Look.
It's like, who are you? Like, why are you telling people who they should mourn or not? That's such a weird thing to me in general.
Should we mourn him? Hell no.
Who does he mean by we?
I think he's saying the progressives.
Progressives? So obviously progressives aren't going to mourn him. They don't care about him.
Yeah.
Why would they have even cared about him at all?
And by the way, I think Rush Limbaugh saved AM radio.
I wouldn't doubt it.
Like, because everybody was abandoning AM radio, and then Reagan repealed the Fairness Doctrine, and then all of a sudden, Rush Limbaugh was like a thing. Somebody's saying the video's not working? How? Maybe the video's not working for you.
And I see it, but it says, but you have it paused, and it says your stream is running. We're just paused this preview to save your resources.
I don't know. Alright.
And you're going to see why. First, as always with the live videos, this is brought to you by you guys. You could, if you like what you're hearing, you could hit the join button below.
Oh my God, he starts his video asking
if you are broken up
of course
about Rush Limbaugh,
Should we board him? No. Should you give me money? Absolutely. Cenk Uygur.
Oh my god. Of course the first thing he does is ask for money.
I know. It's like so schemy. He's like, just so you know, like all our live streams, this is brought to you by you guys, the viewers. Yeah, you make the Young Turks happen, not Jeffrey Katzenberg and all his money that he threw into our company. You, the little people. I'm gonna change the title. Whoops. Yeah, let's get that there. There we go. Alright, I changed the title. Something more dramatic.
Amazing American hero passing away. You can go ahead and unsubscribe. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, right.
That. But anyway, we do this show for truth and justice, and that's what I'm going to give you today. I'm going to explain more about that in a second. But first, also brought to you by Too Strong Coffee.
Oh my God! He's
oh my God! Another endorsement. But cancel if you're mourning this guy's death. So.
This is not reality. Like Cenk did not just do 2 plugs. But dancing
2
on the grave of Rush Limbaugh. That's
and saying that if you liked Rush Limbaugh or you're mourning him, to cancel your subscription, which is bullshit. Because then now he's like promoting his subscriptions and his coffee and other ways to make money.
I know. He's like, cancel your subscription. But if you're cool with this, this is brought to you by Too Strong Coffee. Get your coffee on. The coffee that dances on Rush Limbaugh's grave.
Yeah, made from the ashes of Rush Limbaugh.
Jesus Christ. Use promo code Rush is Dead to get
oh my God.
to get 70% off your first order because he was 70 years old.
Oh my God, that'd be terrible.
Jesus Christ, Cenk.
TooStrongCoffee.com/TYT gives to causes Rush Limbaugh hated.
Did you know that the average adult has 5 to 20 pounds of toxic poop in their body at any given moment?
He said give to whatever that Rush hated. I don't think I would bet any money TYT wasn't even on his radar. I bet he never even talked about it.
So 2 things. 1, look at Cenk's face.
He's so happy with himself.
That was just a pause. 2, we are 1 minute in, and I just got interrupted with an advertisement, like a mid-roll.
After him advertising 2 things himself.
Yeah, after him saying, give me money and support our Too Strong Coffee. Which, by the way, one of my friends has a great video on how the organizations that Cenk partners with that give to good causes don't actually give to those good causes. And they do invest in, the financial sector and in oil and all the stuff that they say that they don't. So, this is also fraudulent, just in case people were wondering. Mm-hmm. Somebody sent me 420. Go to tyt.com/go-to-hell-rush to help chip in at the Young Turks. This is so nasty. I can't believe it. I got people writing, "Where's the plane?" in the chat. Too Strong Coffee. When you need the energy to yell at customer service employees at the airport.
Where's the plane?
During Too Strong.
Yelling at people of color, if you remember. It was all a diverse group of people of color. He's like, where's the plane?
Oh, when he was making fun of the black woman that was doing her hand, and he's like, don't give me any of this. It's my God. Imagine he was covering somebody else doing that. I guarantee he would racialize that.
Oh, for sure. And Anna definitely would have too. Which would have been funny because she's basically saying that about him.
Oh, somebody just resubscribed. Sin Less Hell. Resubscribed via Prime. By the way, Prime subscriptions are free. It's pretty nice. I appreciate that. And then somebody donated 10 Jara, and it said, give me monies to FYT, the big money. I have no idea what that means, but thank you. Thank you for the $10 and the message I assume is making fun of Cenk, but I don't quite understand.
We're getting.
Oh my god!
Okay, and it's organic and it's fair trade. It's fair to people. TYT gives to causes Rush Limbaugh hated.
You gotta pause it on that.
I'm trying to get it. That's the thumbnail right there.
Okay. TwoStrongCoffee.com/TYT gives to causes Rush Limbaugh hated.
Look at that. Look at that. That is not only the thumbnail for like this video, but I'm going to cut this out and use this multiple times. In fact, I demand that the people watching this start memeing Cenk thumbs upping this in front of like other things. Like,
yeah, it's a good one. Look at him, he looks so retarded.
Look at him. I can just imagine people putting this up in front of like putting him doing this in like the foreground of like a memorial for the Armenian genocide. Like
yes.
Holy crap. I didn't realize that Cenk was going to be like this. I have a Devin Tracy in the chat. Is that the real Devin Tracy?
Yeah, he's putting emojis, AIU emojis.
Oh yeah, that is a real Devin Tracy. Let me
he'll cut it out and post it on Twitter, he says, so we can make it memes of it. Awesome.
Alright, I should have given him mod powers. I don't know if that comes up. You got to type something. But yeah. No, yeah, that's insane. Like I knew it was gonna be bad, but this is, again, we're not even a minute into this video, and I've never seen this before. Like, holy crap. Let me just throw a dislike on it right now.
Okay, and it's organic and it's fair trade. It's fair to people. Rush hated that. So in honor
Rush
of this
hated fairness.
Strong coffee. Okay. Now, of course, I'll get the usual. Cenk, don't speak ill of the dead.
Cenk, your stupid face. I just want to point out something that people might not know, but fair trade is total nonsense. It's total BS. If you actually want to help poor people farming coffee in the third world, buy higher quality coffee. Because fair trade just means that they pay the people who own the farms more money for the coffee. But if you buy higher quality coffee, they actually pay the employees that pick the beans more money because it's more of a skill. So even that is just Cenk being an idiot.
Okay, let me just make it clear right from the get-go. I've never understood that. I've never agreed to that. And I will not lie on people's behalf just because they died. It's not logical, and I refuse to do things that are irrational. So no, Cenk, when someone dies, you're supposed to...
Did he just say I refuse to do things that are irrational? He does that all the time.
He's like, I won't lie on behalf of people who have died. Michael Brown.
Oh yeah, true. Many times.
Like, let me just run down the list. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd. Like that's all he does. Like, he constantly lies on behalf of people just because they have died. He turns them into saints.
Crazy.
It's like such a, like, I'm telling you, this is a bitter, sad man. Like that's what we're seeing right here.
But it's funny, like you said, because he's like the Rush Limbaugh of the left. Like,
yeah.
So he's complaining about a dude who he's saying was evil and did all these things, and it's like he acts just like that guy. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Rush Limbaugh did fire an employee that was trying to organize a union at the Rush Limbaugh network. He did say that women are inferior because they didn't want to have sex with him enough. And oh wait, those are things that Cenk Uygur said. This guy. Like,
pretend that they were a good person no matter what they did in real life. No, that's not my job. My job is to tell you the truth. The truth is that Rush Limbaugh was a terrible, terrible person. And I'm going to prove it to you today. And so some people...
I'm going to prove it to you.
Like, here's the thing, is, like, you could attack Rush Limbaugh, you know, while he's alive and he could defend himself. Not that he would care what Cenk Uygur said. And by the way, the people being offended on behalf of Rush Limbaugh, like, this is exactly what he would expect from the left wing. Like, he said that they were nasty his whole life. But,
yeah, exactly.
But Cenk puts this out, like, he streams this the day that he died. he's like, he's dead. I got to get this take out there because this is the kind of person
it's like he's taking advantage of it, right? To like gain money and views and stuff. So he couldn't wait a few days or a week to just talk about it, but he has to do it like instantly and just make a video of him trashing some guy who just died.
Yeah.
Not thinking about his family or anything. Like, not all of his family is just like him too. So, I mean, maybe you don't like the guy, but at least have a little respect for his family and stuff that might be, feeling down about him dying right now.
Yeah, we mourn the dead for the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like we're not talking about him personally. You gotta, at least have some respect for his family.
Like, I don't know if Rush had kids. I assume that he did because he's like a conservative and they all have kids. Mm-hmm. But do you think his kids wanted to see "Rest in Piss" trending on Twitter?
Yeah, or his grandkids even because he was older, right?
So yeah, he's 70 years old. Like, you think that's something that Cenk would want his kids to see when he dies?
Exactly, which is funny because he says, "I don't care. When I'm dead, you want me for? I don't care. I'm dead. I won't even hear it." And it's like, yeah, but your kids will, and your kids' kids will. Like, how do you not think of that?
Yeah, and like, I get like not caring because you'll be dead, but like, again, like, your family needs to hear that. Like,
at least give it some time and let the family deal with his death first, before you start busting on somebody who's dead.
Just remember this when Cenk says that he cares about you and he wants a better dialogue in politics and how much rhetoric matters. Like,
yeah.
People say, well, why today, Cenk? Couldn't you wait? Okay. Because the news event will be irrelevant in a week, and that's not how news works. That's point number one. Point number two is
I need the clicks. I need the clicks.
Now, let me make a point here that news to Cenk is somebody dies, and instead of just reporting that the person dies, news to him is making a video dogging him and telling his audience whether they should mourn this guy or not. That's not news.
Yeah.
Like, how is that news?
He's like, nobody will see me crapping on this dead person if I wait a little while. If the body gets cold, that this isn't interesting anymore.
That's just wrong on so many levels. It makes no sense.
Yeah, it's insane. He's gonna make some insane comparison. You know it's coming. He's like, this left-wing person was criticized, blah, 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 blah. Like, that's gonna happen. Like, we know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's gonna turn this around on the right wing. Like, he's engaging in the bad behavior, but this will be about the right wing. We know what the best...
They deserve it because they're evil.
I have to counteract all of the BS out there. That's what we do at TYT nonstop. Whether it's the right wing now praising him as if some sees some sort of Mother Teresa, right? Or like Fox.
Wasn't Mother Teresa low-key a bad person?
Yes. Yeah, she was scamming people. Just look at watch anything of Hitchens talking about Mother Teresa, and he'll break it down for you how evil she was.
Yeah.
News is like, oh my God, the beloved American patriot, the wonderful human being, right? All right, I'm going to read you his quote so you see why I don't.
Oh, so people who knew him and liked him said respectful things when he died. This, like, giant media figure that actually predates Fox News. Like, and Rush didn't even have a good relationship with Fox News, if I remember correctly. Like, the organization.
Yeah.
I have to counteract all this. I have to counteract the grief of Fox News. How could I let them grieve? They work at Fox News. I'm a good person. Make sure you give money to Too Strong Coffee, because Rush Limbaugh would have hated it. Actually, he would have loved your, like, money scams, right? That's what you think, Cenk.
Yeah, actually, it's true.
Believe that at all, and you won't. If you're a halfway decent person, you won't believe that. Just halfway. That's all you need. And then, but also mainstream media, like, they don't like him. Don't get me wrong. I'm aware of that. But they're like, respectful, and may he rest in peace. And what he was very, amazing broadcaster and very.
What is he doing there? Is he having a stroke?
Yeah, I think Cenk is literally dying right now. Like, what's happening?
Oh my God, he looks like he's having a seizure. What is he doing?
Somebody call a doctor for Cenk. Like,
yeah. Blink if you need 911. Cenk.
We're about to test this theory, like on whether or not Cenk will be treated the same way as Rush. By the way, people in the media were attacking Rush Limbaugh even after he died. There was like a whole bunch of headlines where they would compare him in the same outlet, his death announcement, to like the death announcement of like Osama bin Laden or Khalid Sheikh Mohammed. I'm not Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Baghdadi, or like all these other different characters, and it was like not favorable headlines. Well, let's see Cenk spaz out, I guess.
Talented? No. The right wing liked him because he didn't mind saying hateful things. In fact, he was kind of like the first Donald Trump. And so he didn't have, like, I remember I used to be a Republican. So when Rush Limbaugh was rising up, I was a Republican and a radio talk show host. But I swear, I would listen to Rush thinking, like, this is the guy I'm supposed to like, right? And people, I'm like, why are they laughing? He's saying really weird, stupid, hateful stuff. Like, I thought back then that I was a conservative because I wanted balanced budgets and peace through strength and all that marketing crap that turned out to be not true. But
even back then, I didn't like Rush Limbaugh. So when I was a conservative, I hated him. I was like,
and then he doesn't understand the concept of edgy jokes. He's like, oh, people were laughing, but he was saying terrible things. That's what an edgy joke is, Cenk. Like, he's made those before himself. Like, he said, he's made terrible jokes before. Remember the whole camel toe jokes things they were doing back in the day?
Oh yeah, it wasn't even a joke. It was like a segment. Guess the camel toe.
Yeah, it's a segment where guess the camel toe. That was a terrible thing. That's not even a joke. That's true.
Like, that was a legitimate segment on the Young Turks. The progressive.
Yeah, the horse sex thing Devin just brought up. That's true too. And that wasn't even a joke. I mean, it's even worse. It's like, what's worse, jokes?
Wrote all those like blog posts and all that, and he's like, I was just trying to be an edgy conservative. Now he's like saying that he was clutching his pearls back then, by Rush Limbaugh being edgy, apparently.
But he would get on there and make fun of black people. I was like, and then people would laugh. I was like, wait, but he didn't say anything funny. He just said something racist. Why is that funny? I don't get it. Right? He's never been talented. You're not allowed to say that in media. Oh my God. Cenk. But so many right-wingers like them. Yeah.
Cenk, you're not talented. Like, what do you do that's talented? What is Cenk do that's talented? He's not funny.
He would get on there and make fun of black people. I was like, and then people would laugh. I was like, wait, but he didn't say anything funny. He just said something racist. Why is that funny? I don't get it. Right? He's never been talented.
It's like, he's never been talented. Like, look at this man's face. Like, these are all good thumbnails. Somebody needs to cut out all of this stuff and make like memes about it. Like, holy crap!
Because there's a lot of good stuff to cut up.
He's never been talented. I mean, he was like one of the most iconic radio hosts ever. Your success pales in comparison to his, but he's never been talented. Never.
Nope, Cast got timed out by Streamlabs. There's certain words you just can't use on Twitch.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Cast. I didn't mean to time you out. Or I didn't mean for you to get timed out.
Yeah, he used a no-no word that I guess your Streamlabs automatically catches and times people out for using.
Yeah. I like Cast as a moderator.
For anybody in the audience, Devin posted that tweet. It has the cutout GIF or PNG of Cenk, if you guys want to meme that.
Oh, yeah, you got to
send all your memes to Actual Justice Warrior.
Yeah, you got to go to @ he wasn't jogging. Yeah, but this is another one right here. Like, look at his face.
Yeah, that's a good
one. Holy crap!
But it's funny that he's talking about Rush's talent when he has probably the same amount. Like,
yeah, nothing.
I don't think I would probably agree that Rush Limbaugh wasn't a funny person and wasn't good at jokes, but neither is Cenk. So I mean, how does that work out for him to say that?
Yeah, but it's like he wasn't. He's like, oh, he wasn't funny to me. It's like, okay.
Yeah, humor is subjective. I mean, maybe he just wasn't getting the jokes, and that's all that means.
You're not allowed to say that in media. Oh my God, Cenk. But so many right-wingers like them. Yeah, so many right-wingers like Donald Trump. Do you think Donald Trump was funny or talented or smart?
I mean, I'm sorry, Trump is objectively funny. Like, have you
Yeah,
seen...
maybe not on purpose, but regardless, it's funny that he says shit all the time that I would die laughing. I don't know if he means it to be funny, but it would still make me laugh all the time.
No, but there are times where he's definitely trying to make you laugh, and he's trying to like ham up the crowd where he is funny. Like, what are you talking about, Cenk? Like, that's a terrible example. He's like one of the funniest human beings to ever be in American politics.
I would definitely say Trump is funnier than Cenk for sure. Look at his face right
there.
Just
a racist prick. And he is today, and that's what.
I mean, honestly, like all of the faces of Cenk in this.
Yeah, every pause you get is great.
Jesus
Christ!
Right
there, he looks like he's about to suck your face off or something. Like,
I mean, honestly, everything the right wing liked was the racist. I'm Jake Uger. Alright.
But they like him. That's not the bug. That's the feature. That's why right-wing audiences like Rush Limbaugh, because he gave them the hate and fear that they're addicted to. They just needed someone to tell them that black people were lower than them, that women were lower than them, and
that's what TYT does. But for
Rush gave him, he gave them what they wanted, and that's why he got really rich. He got super rich off of attacking the powerless on behalf of the powerful. That's who Rush Limbaugh was.
That's who Rush Limbaugh was. That's who.
That sounds so much. You remember you started the stream saying that everything he says is going to be stuff that you could say about him, right?
Yeah,
it's 100% true. Everything he's saying right there goes right back to TYT. That's all of that is what TYT does.
And again, like remember,
the opposite side of the eye.
Like a lot of the reasons why conservatives love like Rush Limbaugh is because before Rush Limbaugh, there was like no conservative outlet. There was like no conservative talk radio. Their political talk radio wasn't that successful. So he was like the first guy. So the way he came up was by pointing out that the media is more or less aligned with the Democratic Party. Like attacking the powerless, the people who owned every media station. The dominant political view.
On this like AM station AM frequency that nobody was even using anymore.
Yeah,
and he's the one that's powerful somehow, fighting the powerless.
He got super rich doing it. A popular radio personality with a large audience made money. I don't understand it. Buy my 2 Strong coffee.
And subscribe to DYD.
Like, holy crap.
And his death does not change that fact. That fact is immutable. Look, I'm going to read you awful quotes from Rush Limbaugh so you know he's. And I'm going to get to that in 1 second. But by the way, I'll call out names. Joker2258, thank you for using YouTube Super Chat. That helps the show. That helps us get reality and truth to people because truth matters. Justice matters. But
truth and justice is what, if you send them Super Chats, you're helping truth and justice.
Yeah, I mean, if Cenk is totally not a televangelist here.
Insane. Devin brought up a good point. What would he say if Crowder dunked on Ruth Bader Ginsburg the day she died?
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, there's no standard at all for
we don't have a standard. It's constant double standards over and over again. It's good for the left, but it's not good for the right.
No, he would hate it, and he would be like, "This is how disgusting he is." Unlike Rush Limbaugh, Ruth Bader Ginsburg try to do good things. This isn't subjective. You can have political disagreements. Support me via Super Chat. That's how we get justice in the world. Like, that would be the take.
But one thing that's not put in any of the quotes, but I remember covering it on the Young Turks. I remember he did a segment where he said, poor people, I don't get it. Why do they get welfare? Why do they need our food stamps? If they're hungry, why don't they just go in their fridge?
I'm sure that's exactly what he said. Ed. I bet you any money that's not exactly how that quote went.
He can't even understand poverty. He can't even understand poverty, Alf. He said,
why don't they just go to their fridge? Fridges magically make food for everyone. Yeah, I don't believe it.
Go to the fridge. I'm sure because it's not being reported and Cenk remembers it, that this quote is a little bit out of context.
Yeah, I don't believe it at all. I'm betting it's a lot out of context. I really doubt Rush Limbaugh said, "Why don't they just go to their fridge?"
I mean, honestly, every frame of this pause is disastrous for Cenk.
Oh, what's going on?
Marie Antoinette of our times. So now that he dies of lung cancer, I'm supposed to shed a tear? No. I remember when he got sick in one of these sexcapade vacations he used to take. And then they brought him to the hospital, and he's like, I don't need insurance. I don't know why anybody needs insurance. It only cost me like the price of a Humvee.
It's a weird thing that he thinks, because people are saying don't crap on this guy because he just died, that he thinks that he has to shed a tear for him. Like there's a middle point where you could just not say anything. You don't have to be mournful, but you don't also have to be disrespectful either way, you know. It's weird that he thinks that it's only one of those two things. Like, oh, you know, they're criticizing me because I'm not shedding a tear for this terrible person. Nobody said you had to shed a tear. Not one person said that.
And if I remember correctly, he said the price of an SUV. I don't know where Cenk is getting this Humvee thing from.
Yeah, I wish he would put up like some sort of source for this or clips or something, but he's just going to say them. But I think, now we don't know if he's like coal mining or just taking them out of context. Like, what is going on here?
Yeah, and again, it's like, this guy is a terrible person because, like, according to this quote, he's out of touch because he doesn't realize that paying for an SUV, like, out of pocket is not something most Americans can do.
Right.
Like, I'm glad he's dead. I'm going to smile about it. Put thumbs up. Like, how does that link? It's crazy.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
And also, I think what Rush might have been saying in that quote, because, you know, you can't trust Cenk Uygur ever, is that you pay off an SUV over time. So if a medical emergency costs you the price of an SUV, even if you can't pay it up front, you could pay it over time.
Right.
Again, you might not like that quote. You might not think that's the most, like, empathetic quote, but, like, it's not the most evil thing I've ever heard in my life.
No, and it's realistic, actually.
Oh, it only cost you the price of a Humvee.
He raised $1 million to fail miserably.
He never cared about any other person. Never. In fact, he kicked down all the time. So now we're all supposed to collectively care about Rush's feelings when he's dead? No, a hell to the no on that. So all right. If you're wondering what I meant by sex abuse, quick aside on.
That's not what anybody's saying. He's saying he has to do all that. So what?
Yeah, nobody's saying that everybody needs to care about Rush Limbaugh's death.
Yeah, he said that. Yeah. It's weird that he thinks that people are telling it. That's the weird mentality that Cenk has. It's one way or another. There's no such thing as gray areas for him. Like, nobody's saying you have to shed a tear or feel bad or anything of that. You're just saying don't crap on somebody who just died. They have family members that, you know, give them some time to grieve before you start completely, you know, dropping diarrhea on a dude.
Yeah, and again, like, Rush Limbaugh was a trailblazer in, like, these partisan, like, one-sided kind of, like, figures like Cenk Uygur. So, like, even if you don't like him personally, like, Cenk Uygur is a reflection of that. Like, literally a reflection of it. So, like, you know, even if you ignore all that, like, you could have some, like, little bit of, like, respect for his family after he died. Also, like, none of these quotes are bad at all. Like, at all. Like,
and on top of that, we don't even know how accurate these quotes are. Like, he's totally quote mining and probably taking them out of context. Some of them might be jokes, and he's just reading them dry as if they were like actually, something he said in context and in tone. They might just, he might have just been being sarcastic or joking.
Yeah, Cenk is quote mining him without any sources in front of him, so it's paraphrased quotes.
He got caught coming back from the Dominican Republic with a bucket full of Viagra. He had gone on vacation there as a single guy. Gee, I wonder why he went to the Caribbean to look for black women with a bottle of Viagra, women he was not dating and hence would have likely had to pay for.
Can you pause that for a second? Why did he say looking for black women in the Dominican Republic? Not everyone in the Dominican Republic is black. Does he know that?
Yeah.
Or does he just assume it's the Caribbean, so they're all black? Like, what? The Caribbean's like half. I mean, the Dominican Republic's like half black, half brown, and white as well. There's a bunch of white Dominicans. Like, what is he talking about?
Yeah,
that's very strange. Like, does he literally know that there was pictures of him like meeting up with black women there, or is he just saying that because he thinks Dominicans are black? I don't know. To me, that feels like very racist.
He's like, he had a bunch of Viagra from the Dominican Republic.
Yeah, my father's Dominican. I'm half Dominican, and my father's skin is white, very white. Like, it's not black. Most of my relatives in Dominican Republic are from like light brownish to white.
Alex Rodriguez is Dominican. Alex Rodriguez is nobody's black man.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right. A-Rod.
So now we're all supposed to collectively care about Rush's feelings when he's dead? No, a hell to the no on that. So all right. If you're wondering what I meant by Rush's feelings, he got caught coming back from the Dominican Republic with a bucket full of Viagra. He had gone on vacation there as a single guy. Gee, I wonder why he went to the Caribbean to look for black women with a bottle of Viagra, women he was not dating and hence would have likely had to pay for. This is after all the racist things he said in his life. And then
Yeah, I'm not sure what this... So, first of all, Cenk is in favor of prostitution, if you guys are confused about that. Yeah. Like, he supports it. So, right there, that's like an attack that doesn't make any sense. Second, Rush Limbaugh is a multi-millionaire. Like, women would sleep with him because he was insanely rich. Like...
Yeah, he wouldn't literally have to give them money. He could just, like, buy them stuff and treat them well at the time, and they would... Especially in Dominican Republic, they care more about, instead of getting cash, they care more about getting like items and stuff. If you buy them clothes and stuff that they need, they would they'll do stuff for that.
Yeah, like Cenk's pretending like this guy was reinstituting the transatlantic slave trade or something. Like, he's like, did you get a Republic?
If he's going over there and having sex with black women, then he's probably not racist then, right? Like, seems kind of weird.
Yeah, Devin's right. He's like effing black chicks makes him racist, or and he's like shaming sex work. Yeah, there's like no consistency in any of Cenk's principles.
And then meanwhile, Cenk's automatically assuming that he's going there for black women in Dominican Republic. That's
Cenk's automatically assuming that the Dominican Republic is full of prostitutes.
Yeah, prostitutes and black people.
Like,
it's so racist. I don't get it. I'm kind of offended by it. Like, it bothers me that he said that. I'm a bit offended by that.
Yeah, we got a Dominican right now.
Yeah, as a half Dominican, I'm a bit offended by that. But he just said that he went over there to find black women. Like, unless he's got like proof of that.
Yeah,
I feel like he's just making it up though.
Why did Rush Limbaugh go to an island with hot Latin chicks that was outside of the jurisdiction of the United States with a bunch of Viagra that he would have needed a prescription for within the United States? I don't know, but if you think I'm going to mourn him after he died after that, then you have another thing coming.
Yeah, and who cares? Yeah, if he did that, I don't get why that's something that anybody would care about. That's his own personal, private business. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Yeah. Between him and his family.
He wasn't even married at the time.
And then when he got caught with it, remember, he was a drug addict. Now, look, some progressives get super touchy about that.
Drug addict?
Don't say that Mike Lindell, the buy a pillow guy, used to smoke crack, hence would have likely had to pay for.
Hold on.
This is after all the racist things he said in his life. And then when he got caught with it, remember, he was a drug addict. Now, Now, look, some progressives get super touchy about that. They say, "Oh, don't."
Oh my god, I keep missing the frame that I want.
Drug addict. Now, look, some progressives get super touchy about that. They say, "Oh."
There we go. There we go. So Cenk is making fun of him because he was addicted to like OxyContin or something like that. This is true. Like, Rush Limbaugh was addicted to that. Like, I guess.
Was he? Okay.
I guess this is your win. Like,
yeah, because I'm sure a lot of progressive politicians that Cenk cares about have been addicted to stuff before. Who cares? Like,
yeah, I mean, like, you know, you can't ever sympathize or anything like that with anybody who's addicted to drugs. Came through it, and I think he was like more reasonable after that experience, like on like the punishments for people with drugs. Like, you know, and I think he almost died. He was taking like a lot of opioids though, like enough to kill like 5 horses.
Don't say that Mike Lindell, the buy a pillow guy, used to smoke crack and is a drug addict. That was a drug addict. That we celebrate that he's gotten past it. Has he? Rush Limbaugh, we celebrate that he got past it. Did he? He lost his hearing because he took so much drugs. It was painkillers that he was addicted to. And so the reason he was in trouble for the Viagra is he had it under a false name.
What does this have to do with anything? Hello? Alf, can you hear me?
I missed what he said. What did he say?
Oh, like, listen to, like, this weird leap in logic.
Was a drug addict. That we celebrate that he's gotten past it. Has he? Rush Limbaugh, we celebrate that he got past it. Did he?
He's making fun. Yeah, he's like, the My Pillow guy didn't get past the drug addiction or something like that.
That's weird.
And that, like, there's no evidence of that, by the way. Cenk's just making that up, smearing the guy for being an addict. Very progressive. And now he's doing the same thing to Rush Limbaugh. And look at how he ties this to the Viagra.
He lost his hearing because he took so much drugs. It was painkillers that he was addicted to. And so the reason he was in trouble for the Viagra is he had it under a false name. And because he didn't want to get caught with more prescription drugs, because he was on a program where he didn't go to prison, of course, because he's rich. You would have gone to prison, but he didn't. But he said, but I'll be a good boy and I won't take drugs anymore. And then he's like, I'm just kidding. After I say all the racist things, I'm going to go pay to have sex with black women. And I need a bucket full of Viagra because, I'm impotent.
I'm really bothered by this that he
black women, and I need a bucket full of Viagra because I'm impotent.
Black women. I don't understand that. Like, where's
I guess Cenk is so
photographs of this or something.
I guess Cenk is so disgusted by black women that he thinks that makes it worse. Like,
yeah, I mean, I've gone to Dominican Republic and had sex with women that weren't black. Like, it's like you could go there and not have sex with women that aren't black.
Yeah, I think not all black. Cenk the racist that he's obsessing over this.
It's very strange. I don't understand why he thinks that it had to be black women that he was having sex with.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, but the thing is like Cenk probably thinks that this offends conservatives. Like, nobody cares.
Nobody cares that.
Yeah, black women. Like, even if they were like exclusively, like black women that he was hooking up with. So, but like he's tying this to the opioid thing.
So, hey, listen, mate, I'm just telling you facts, man. 2,900 milligram bottles of Viagra on his way back, let alone however many he used over there. Okay, so.
All this stuff is really stuff that doesn't even matter. Like, there's people addicted. So what? So people are addicted to stuff. Like, what? Like, what does that matter?
Cenk is really stupid, and I just realized how stupid that he is. He said 29 bottles of this stuff on his way back. Because in the DR, you can get that over the counter, I believe.
I don't know about that, but it might be cheaper too.
Yeah, but it's cheaper, but they'll give you more of it. This is like one of the problems that baseball players have in terms of like steroid usage and all that, is that a lot of the stuff that's banned by MLB that's prescription is available like in regular like protein and muscle building shakes in the DR. So he's like on the way back he went there. So he might not have even went there for like prostitutes and hookers if he's coming back with like 29 bottles of the stuff. He was bulk. It seems like he's bulk buying it. Like, unless you think Rush Limbaugh is dealing Viagra.
Yeah, he's selling it there.
Like, this makes no sense. Like, what Cenk's saying is just not, you know, like, so even this attack makes no sense at all now that I've like thought about it. Like, if he was bringing the Viagra there, that's one thing.
So I looked up ethnic groups in Dominican Republic. It says 70% is mixed, which is mestizo, Indio, right? Like Spaniards with the natives, which is 58%, and mulatto, 12.4% is the mixed. Black people is 15.8% of Dominican Republic. It's not even like a huge number there.
Yeah.
It's a little less than white. White people are 13.5% there. So they're both like, pretty similar numbers. And the majority is mixed race.
Right. And by the way, like, the most obvious thing about this is, even though this makes no sense, and Cenk is just like rambling and trying to tie this to the opioid thing, and also like spurging out, throwing the MyPillow guy under the bus for no reason at all, is that even if he did get Viagra to go to the Dominican Republic and come back with it to hook up with women or to pay prostitutes in the DR, like, Cenk's in favor of prostitution. Like, this shouldn't matter at all. But to Cenk, because it's Rush, it's conservative, I'm angry about it. Like, who cares? This doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
And you said, Cenk used to talk about his drug habit when he was, when he's now passed away. Did they do the same favor for George Floyd? Because I turned on Fox News the other day.
We're talking about George Floyd now.
To George Floyd. What? How is he going to George Floyd from that? Oh my God. So wait, but because Cenk now is yelling about Rush Limbaugh being a drug addict and all these things about drugs, so then it's okay that people are saying, he just did a video talking about George Floyd and how he was complaining that people are saying, oh, they're calling him a drug addict and they're calling him a druggie and this and that. What's wrong with that then? If you can call Rush Limbaugh a druggie and drug addict, then why can't we call George Floyd that,
Right. And people aren't calling George Floyd a drug addict. I'm sure some people are doing that to make fun of him. Like, some people are like attacking him with that. It's like a character attack.
I mean, he literally was a drug addict.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, as a character attack on him. Like, why are you supporting this drug addict?
I see what you're saying.
But what Cenk is talking about is the Tucker Carlson segment. He's saying Fox News, and they covered this a couple.
Yeah, that was the video they just did recently. Yeah.
Yeah, he's talking about the dispute over cause of death. Because he had a lethal.
They're going to call him a druggie in court, but they're not going to call him blah blah. They're not going to call him a victim.
Yeah. Oh yeah, where he's like, if the court lets them not call him a victim, if they let him do that, then this whole trial's rigged. And it's like,
you never do that in court. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, if the dispute in the trial, the defense that they're going to go with, is that he didn't die via homicide, calling him a victim is prejudicial language for the jury.
Exactly.
So, like, but the dispute related to Floyd is not that he used drugs at some point, which is what Cenk said. And he's probably going to say that again, right? It's that the drug use that he did at the time was the cause of death, or a significant contributing factor to his death, and he had excited delirium. So Cenk is totally missing the point on this. Nobody's saying it as a character assassination on George Floyd. They're saying it because he was saying that he could not breathe according to the body cam video prior to the knee being put on his neck. So Cenk is an idiot. This doesn't make any sense. He's just scrambling for an excuse to be a total jerk about Rush Limbaugh dying.
Yep. Yeah, stuff that he would have no problem with if it was a person like a progressive person that died and they had a drug addiction in their past, he wouldn't be here being like, they were drug addicts, blah, blah, blah. They lost their hearing because they did so much cocaine, blah, blah. You know?
What we're talking about was not how George Floyd was murdered by that cop in Minnesota, Derek Chauvin, and how he was choked to death that we all saw. They all kept saying no.
He was choked to death, which we all saw, even though the autopsy reports say that he did not die from choking or asphyxiation.
Yeah, so this is like the new thing. This is the new state lines. Is he was choked to death, and we all saw it. We all saw it. It was all in the video. We all saw it. It's like,
yeah.
But the medical examiner report does not show us that.
Like, well, look, I am an avid viewer of UFC. I am a huge fan of martial arts, jiu-jitsu, and all that kind of stuff. There is no choke out there like that. You can't. I'm sure you could maybe lower someone's chest compressions, and if they're like sick, it would be, and they're having chest compressions in general, they would have difficulty breathing. But there's no choke out there. His neck is not being obstructed in any way from that position. So what is the choke out? That's why it looks bad. I understand that. It looks like he's on top of him, but ask anybody who does jiu-jitsu and chokes people out for a living and knows every single way that you could possibly choke a person out. And they'll tell you can't choke someone out like that. Like, it just doesn't work. The back of the neck is not where you breathe. That's not a choke out spot. The front of your neck is where you breathe from.
And remember, the Minneapolis police, it's not only that, like, that's what killed him that's in dispute, it's whether or not that was intended to kill him, which is clearly not the case. You don't use a restraint you're taught by the police academy that is deliberately taught to not kill somebody as a way to kill somebody. It makes no sense at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So Cenk is just,
so the intent wouldn't be there for sure.
Yeah, so Cenk is just spurging out right here, like not giving us any accurate information. Oh, well, Devin's like, it was in broad daylight too.
Yeah, that was a new one that Anna's was saying. It's a broad daylight. But it's a total Dunning-Kruger moment where they look at that and they think they understand what's happening there. They think that that's a choke out. But anybody who's an actual expert of choking knows, that that's not a choke out. There's no way you could choke someone out like that.
The problem with the Floyd video, and this was always going to be the problem, is that the first video that came out was always going to be the worst of it because nothing could have added worse context to that because it was out of context. Now that we have the additional context, I mean, obviously they could have had video of Chauvin saying, "I'm going to kill him" on the body cams before. But, like, other than that, which was super unlikely, it was going to be as bad as it could be right then and there. So, when that turned out to not be the case started to fall apart, and now they're in panic mode because they realize that this is going to result in a not guilty verdict.
Yeah, and they messed up, right? Because the initial charge was going to be 3rd degree, and then they moved it up to 2nd degree. That's a mess up. They should have stayed on 3rd degree.
Yeah, 3rd degree was the absolute maximum that they could have gotten if only the original video existed. Once you have that second body cam video where they show that they were concerned about his excited delirium and all that, there's no way.
No, but you can at least get, like, maybe not... Yeah, I guess murder's bad. Maybe manslaughter or some sort of negligence.
There's no way.
Because they could have, like, tried... No, but I'm saying maybe some sort of negligence because they could have tried to, like, resuscitate him or something. Instead, he just let him.
I mean, they did though. If you watch the full body cam footage, they go in the ambulance and they try to, like, they have the officer.
That's when they get to the ambulance. But for a lot of it, like 9 minutes, he just stood there. And then there's moments where he's dying watching the video, and the guy doesn't do anything.
But they're like holding his pulse on the leg. This is why you got to watch the body cam footage.
Oh yeah. The other side, that's true.
And they're asking if he still has a pulse, like, the whole way through. So they're holding his leg, and then the other person's holding his wrist to, like, hold for the pulse. And they're calling the ambulance.
Yeah, that's true.
No, it's okay. George Floyd was a druggie. And so since George Floyd ever took drugs in his life, he had it coming, and it must have been the drugs that killed him.
No, that's not what it is. It's because he had lethal amounts of fentanyl in his system at the moment, and methamphetamine.
And it's actually disputable on whether or not he took it on video. Like, the defense is trying to enter in what looks like him swallowing pills.
Yeah, it's hard to tell, but I've seen that clip, and it's hard to tell. It looks like he has something in his mouth. It definitely does.
Yeah.
But it's hard to tell what it is. I don't know if he has, like... Because it's white, so it could be like his teeth. You know how some people have removable teeth? Like, it could be some of his teeth coming out or something, so it's hard to tell if it was actually pills or not. but he did have large lethal amounts of fentanyl and methamphetamine in his system.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
well, he had smaller amounts of meth, but like definitely lethal amounts of fentanyl.
Yeah, which to me seems like he probably was on meth and was trying to sell fentanyl, and then got, when the cops came, he swallowed the fentanyl.
Right, or he was just using it, like, he was panicked from the jump. But that's the thing, is like Cenk, he's such a liar. This is like so shameful and disgusting.
Yeah.
And again, if he's saying it's immoral to use the fact that George Floyd was once addicted to drugs against him, but I'm going to do this to Rush Limbaugh when it's completely irrelevant to Rush Limbaugh's cause of death, by the way, which was the lung cancer. Like, this makes no sense. Like, none of this holds any water whatsoever. Yeah, and, of course, he has to lie about it and say that people are saying because he used drugs, therefore he had it coming.
Yeah, in that video when they were talking about the Tucker video, he said, because he did drugs once.
Yeah.
Like, what? That was the most insane thing you could say. Like, what do you mean he used drugs once?
Because it's even worse than that. It's like because he may have did drugs once before. Like, so he doesn't even grant, like, the reality.
Yeah, he's completely ignoring the autopsy and what was found in his systems or any of that.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy, yeah.
So am I allowed to say it must have been the drugs that killed Rush Limbaugh? I mean, he was a drug addict, and I don't know if he recovered. He says he
Do you have an autopsy report for that?
What an idiot.
Because we have an autopsy report for George Floyd. Yeah, what an idiot. So then, could I say that Rush Limbaugh was on drugs? Well, we'd have to see the evidence of that like we have for George Floyd.
First of all, like, okay, let's say it's the drugs that killed Rush Limbaugh, right? What the hell does that have to do with anything?
It's true. What does that have to do with anything?
Like seriously, like, we're talking about whether or not you should mourn. His video is Rush Limbaugh is dead! ! And whether or not we should mourn him. What does his cause of death have to do with whether or not we should mourn him? And how are you comparing this to criminal charges?
And how is that related to George Floyd at all?
Oh, Rush Limbaugh, but you see, it is related. Because Rush Limbaugh was having sex with black women in the Dominican Republic, Alf. Well, you know
yeah.
When he was 40 years old or something, he was having sex with black women in the Dominican Republic. Yeah, I don't know if you know that. He had Viagra on the mouth.
He had Viagra. That's so strange. I don't get this at all. Like, what is he doing?
Like, we're not even halfway through this insanity.
Oh my God, it keeps getting more. Well, yeah, I can imagine like the last third of it is going to be him selling stuff.
Oh yeah, or maybe the screen will go black again, like that video I covered today.
Yeah, actually, I got to go to the potty. I'll be right back.
All right, you want to take 5?
It's up to you. Whatever you want to do.
Yeah,
if you want to keep going. All right, take 5.